Hey guys, welcome back to Alex Reacts or Alex Rants. Just here to talk about interest rates. And the Federal Reserve, I think, met today, if I'm not mistaken. And they wanted to discuss their interest rates. I just kind of want to make some comments on this and really have a discussion. Maybe I'll have a friend or two on, and we can have this like a better conversation about this. But um, my name's Alex. I'm a corporate banker. I worked in wealth management before banking, um, and I react to just different financial situations. I just do finance rants, basically personal finance, just financial news like today. Um, but if you guys are interested in personal finance and just hearing me rant, please like, subscribe, comment, give me feedback. I'd be happy to adjust or kind of change what I'm doing. This is all a rough draft here, these first few months, but hopefully we'll get better with time. But anyways, I want to talk about interest rates just really quick and kind of give like my opinion. Just I don't know, like my thoughts. I guess they're not really opinions because I'm not really like married to them being right. I don't know if they're right or not. They're more like just they're like almost like knee jerk reactions, right? Like my first opinion, my first thought that comes to mind is this. Um, Kind of like what would benefit me based on with regards to the economy, like how am I feeling? Um, those types of things I'm going to kind of share. I'm not so much going to be like it's not really going to be like too fact based, I guess, in the sense of like um, I'm not going to approach this like from like a purely economic discussion, but rather just more so like throwing out some questions for discussion. But anyway, so the Fed, today they announced they're just holding rates steady. The market, S&P 500 is down, basically 1.6%. Dow Jones, I think, was down like 80 basis points. Which obviously isn't surprising. Here we go. Nasdaq was down 2.25. So that's all your tech companies. It's it's to be expected. The market was really pricing in a rate cut in March. So I think they were pretty upset with the news. Although to be fair, I did not expect a rate cut in March. Actually, gosh, Jamie Dimon gave an interview. I can't remember the name of the event, but he gave an interview recently. Some famous New York Times, it was like the New York Times event with their famous journalist there. I can't remember his name. But anyways, Jamie Dimon gave an interview saying like basically hinting at the fact that he does not see rates being cut, and he also like would be surprised if rates. He wouldn't even be surprised if rates went up. Honestly, the Fed's going to hold the rates. They're like 5.25 right now. And I kind of want to just talk a little bit about it. What do I think? Do I think rate cuts? It's hard to say, right? So part of me kind of wants a recession. Like that's kind of my like a part of me wants that. Obviously, like I don't want to lose my job, and I don't, all these other things. But like, I can't imagine rates going back down to like prime rates going back down to like 1% or 0% again, like in the next 2 years, which everybody seems to think that like rates are going to come down magically in the next 2 or 3 years. Like we're just going to go back to normal, and I don't think we're going to go back to normal. Like I think this is kind of a little bit like the new normal. I don't know if rates are going to like truly fall, but we were in an abnormal situation for 10 years or so with 0% interest rates and negative interest rates in some countries. I think we'll eventually go back down to zero just as populations decline. But in general, though, part of me kind of wants a recession, so I kind of want to keep rates high. The reason I want a recession isn't because I want the despair, like all these tragedies, but rather because I feel like our economy literally needs. I mean, our housing prices are through the roof. Um, I feel like everything just costs an arm and a leg. It's almost like just everything's just out of touch with reality. I feel like everything, that's whatever the price is. If you just shave it off 40%, like that's kind of more close to like the actual price of a good. And so in that regard, I feel like we need a recession. On the other hand, obviously, we don't want businesses, with high rates, businesses, you're starting to see their margins really get squeezed. Especially, where I'm working, a lot of some of the, especially where I'm working, you see in the corporate banking space, that interest expense is definitely starting to play a role on some businesses. Obviously, most businesses are fine, but just their margins just aren't the same. That's all it is. It's not that they're going under; it is their margins just aren't the same. So I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, would you want rates to go down again? How far down? How far do you think they'll go this year? I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if rates stay at no less than 4.75, 4.5 this year. I really don't think we're gonna go down more than a point. Which is fine, I get 4.5% on my, you get 4.5% on our little high yield savings accounts and stuff. So I don't mind the high interest rates, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I just want to talk about it. I don't really have like too many opinions on it. I'm not an economist by any means, and I'm not like, and I could be totally wrong, and I could be totally ignorant on this matter, and I very well might be. So I'm like very open to criticism or comments, but I don't know. I guess I'm just ranting about the fact that like I feel like we kind of need a recession, and my gut instinct also feels like if we cut rates, like go back down to 2% in the next year or two, I could just really see everybody like rushing to buy assets and financing, and like just debt would be issued like out the wazoo, like just boom, 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 boom. Everybody's financing real estate, financing, and then just inflation's going to just skyrocket. I could really see that happening because it's really unsustainable. I mean, there's just these housing prices are unsustainable, rent prices are unsustainable, groceries unsustainable. I mean, you can't have. I think let me look at this. It's like percent of Americans paying more than 50% of their pay on rent. 20. So more renters than ever before. Harvard report 22.5 million households in the U.S. spend over 30%, and half of them basically spend over 50%. So that's crazy. That is crazy. That is not sustainable. Look at this poor person here, just struggling. Poor girl can't 44% of her income to rent in Manhattan. This isn't sustainable. You can't have 22 million households. I don't know how many that is. Maybe that's, let's just say that's 2.5 people, because renters probably have smaller families. So, I don't know, that's 40 million Americans, say 10% of the population. It's probably more, because it doesn't include like homeowners. Yeah, I'm not going to read this whole article here, but look, 50% of his income goes towards a duplex in Rhode Island. I mean, like, it's just like that's like. I mean, imagine spending 50% of you're working your whole like life, and you're spending half of your paycheck on rent, like. It's just crazy to me. And a duplex. I mean, like a duplex. Like, dude, like it's not even like luxurious living. I heard something funny. It said like, back in like the 60s, you could work minimum wage and afford a home, and like be able to save up and buy a home. Then you could do minimum wage in the 80s. You could do minimum wage and afford to rent, but you couldn't buy a home. You could rent, but like you could live alone and rent on minimum wage or like a low wage. Then 2000s come by, you can't afford to rent. You have to shack up with roommates, with one roommate, and then now, fast forward, it's like you can't even afford to rent without 2, 3, 4 roommates, and buying a home is really out of your out of many people's dreams at this point. I mean, it's out of their reach. Like there's just no chance that they're ever going to be able to afford a home. And it's funny because you'll still ask those people like, "Oh, what are you, middle class?" And they're like, "Yeah, middle class," even though they can't afford their own place. They can't afford to own anything. They can't afford their own place, and have to live with a bunch of people in their own house. But they consider themselves middle class, and they are middle class because literally they're the middle of like the American household, like kind of income or whatever. But it's not a middle class lifestyle. A middle class lifestyle is like, wife, 2 kids or 3 kids, house, 1 or 2 cars, and you're able to save a little bit for retirement. That's a middle class lifestyle, not living with 3 roommates, no kids, no wife, not barely being able to make ends meet, and not being able to afford a home. I mean, that's not a middle class lifestyle. So anyway, this is kind of my little 2 cents. I'll give a prediction. Let me give my prediction because I'm going to look back on this a year from now or whatever at the end of the year and see if I was right. But I'm going to suspect rates are not going to fall below 4.5%, and by the end of this year, that's my prediction. Which I would be okay with, I guess. And I'm going to give it I'm going to do a 15%. I'm going to do a 10% chance that rates go up. 10% chance rates go up, and a 20% chance. No, I'm going to do a 5% chance rates go up, and a 15% chance that rates stay flat the whole year. So that's 20% that rates go up or flat, and a 80% chance that rates are going to fall this year, at least by some degree. But I don't think they're going to fall more than 1%. So anyways, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. This article talked a little bit about the fact that, in the 70s, this Atlanta Fed president kind of talked about it in the 70s. They cut back rates too soon. Inflation spiked up again, and then they had to do it. They went through the whole process again. And, that's all people were talking about. So they're trying to avoid that. I think better to err on the side of caution, and just take it slow. I think that's what I would say if I was Jerome Powell. But he is a probably much more well-informed man than I am. So I'll let him do his job, and I'm going to comment and play Monday morning quarterback here. So anyways, let me know you guys' thoughts. If you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, comment, share, give me feedback. I react to Reddit posts. I'll react to some videos probably later. I'll come up with some other subjects too, but I just wanted to touch on interest rates since it was kind of the news of the day today. But anyways, hope you guys have a good day. God bless.